I mean, we gotta address the you know, lime green 7-Up surge colored elephant in the room, which is Xbox. Xbox has somehow, some way squandered any and all of the last goodwill it had with the consumer base with a couple of key decisions. For those who don't know what I'm referring to, over the past week, Xbox has now closed down, was it 2 studios? I believe.
I believe it's 2 to 3.
Okay. Let's go with 2 to 3 studios, but one in particular being the studio that gave them their first original IP success of this console generation, Hi-Fi Rush. And this is coming off the heels of that game having just gone multi-platform. You can just now play it on PS5, just now play it on PC, Switch release date coming soon. And it's been, as far as we know, as far as we've been told, it's been a success. Xbox for months now have said this was a success. We didn't expect this to be such a hit for such a shadow drop game. It's done well. It's done well by every metric of the word. We are looking at a success, only to turn around, have the team make it multi-platform available, and then close the studio. So, fellas, I gotta ask, what are our thoughts on initially the closing down of those studios and Hi-Fi Rush being no more?
I'll go first. Personally, it's beyond red flags for me. It really is because, especially, in the news media around, when they acquired these studios, it was a big, big fuss.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just for like, a few months later, and this is where we are. So it kind of just felt like, why didn't you just leave them alone?
Yes.
Like, it's just the management of these properties are just like, who's making these decisions?
Mm-hmm.
Who's making these decisions, man? And like I said, it was a success. But it kind of just feels like, due to the way the industry is now with technological advancements, like it's kind of feel like they're trying to erase the human out of the product. So like, yes, it's a success, but yeah, we don't really want to pay you guys for that success. So let's just get rid of you now.
But it just feels counterintuitive because you don't get that success unless those humans are there, right? It's
Yes.
not like
And it's weird because, like, first of all, what about updates? So who updates this game when these people are gone?
nobody. They released the final. They literally listed it as the final patch notes for Hi-Fi Rush. I think it was Monday.
Which
Hey
is
guys, here's the final patch notes for this game.
which is crazy because there's still servers out there for certain PlayStation games, man.
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation 4 games that people are just still loving hardcore to this day. And you mean to tell me that this is just it for a recent game, which is, a commercial success for you?
Mm-hmm.
Insane, bro. Insane.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So with that, man, it was success. The thing with High Five Rush and that studio closing down, it was success. It was a success for Xbox, but not for Microsoft. I'll repeat, it was a success. It was a success for Xbox, but not for Microsoft.
I see where you're going with that.
I
Yeah.
do too.
So, right. So let's be real. Phil gets the idea to make the purchase. Xbox doesn't have that much money, right? They make money, but they can't spend that amount to purchase those studios that they wanted to purchase. So
Mm-hmm.
let's go borrow money from father, right? We borrow
Mm-hmm.
money from father. We make the purchase. Now the purchase gets stretched out. So maybe we could have made the numbers that we wanted to if it didn't take this long to get for the acquisition to finally go through. So you have all that revenue being spent. So that's also an add-on to the money that you also additionally wanted to purchase the studio for.
Mm-hmm.
So now Satya Nadella said, kid, you're reaching your annual report is coming up, man. What's going on? It feels like, yeah, so we didn't get the number of Xbox subscribers we wanted to. Starfield didn't do the numbers that we were expecting it to. Not to mention the high price of gaming.
Redfall was a L.
Oh, Redfall also was an L, but this Redfall was also mandated because these people didn't want to make that game to begin with. So you forced them to make a game that they didn't want to make with. Not to mention the people that originally made the game aren't there. They're not really. They're kind of like split apart. So you make this acquisition. You purchase this game. You guys forget to report and count the fact that everybody's not in their homes anymore. So I forgot the business term for that. Business term for a very rare season takes place. I don't know the business term for that name, but it's something that would just somewhat of an anomaly that took place financially, right? Because everybody was at home. Game Pass made sense. Hey man, I don't gotta pay. I don't gotta keep buying games and go getting bored out of my mind. Let me just subscribe. Now the steady flow of subscribers doesn't increase from then on. Microsoft is saying, why isn't it growing? Well, Microsoft, you guys understood that we were in a unique situation. Those aren't the reality of the numbers, so we can't just assume that this is going to be what it is. I don't care.
You also are not dropping enough games, but continue.
Right? I don't care. But tell you what, Phil. How about we make our money? We need our money back tomorrow. So you guys come up with something. I'm here Monday, right? So now Phil doesn't get a say so. Sarah Bond gets thrown into the spotlight, right? Now that interview was not an interview that she wanted to do. She's wearing green and black, and she's like, yeah, okay. So now I am the first Black woman CEO or head branch of the department, and they threw me to the slaughter, right? Yeah. So now
you almost see the meme of just her face, Phil's face, Phil with the noose saying "first time." Just
man, and that's just what it is. It's like it's an unfortunate circumstance, but man, this Infinite Setsuyomi that Don Matrix started, we still in it as an Xbox community. We still paying for it. This is where everything started, my friend. This is where everything started. Everything started, and now he had because you released the failure of a console, the Xbox One. You changed the momentum, right? You bring it to a direction that it shouldn't have gone in because you thought mobile gaming was the future. Where's mobile gaming now? Like, think about it. The mobile games that people play, right? We play it, but am I gonna sit down and play Final Fantasy 16 on my cell phone, and then I get a text, and then I get Twitter feed? And then I go to YouTube. No. When you guys pointed that out, it made so much sense. Yeah, I'm playing Resident Evil, but I got this text, this Twitter update, this new video on YouTube showing up.
Yeah.
No, it's not feasible. No wonder why you got these mobile games that they play off.
My battery percentage
the battery just dwindle, just dwindle. Not to mention you need super components. There's no way pressing a screen, you're gonna break your screen if that's the case.
Right. So
right.
I gotta keep the backbone in my pocket.
So these guys lack extreme foresight, and unfortunately, these guys are in their 50s. They weren't. These guys adopted the technology and had to adapt to it. If they wasn't working, these guys would never have their nose in the technological business to begin with. These guys aren't tech heads, But that's what I know to happen with the Microsoft acquisition. They have to pay back Microsoft, and since they can't pay back Microsoft. What happens usually when you can't pay off your car? Who comes back to get? You know what I'm saying? The repo man. They come get it. So now Microsoft. It might not be, unless Phil does whatever he has to do. Because if it winds up in the hands of Microsoft, you can count it all a loss. It's done. It's over with. Because why? These guys, just like the late great Steve Jobs. Well, what do you like about Microsoft? Well, not much really. They lack imagination, and you can see that in their products. They don't even have a contender. They don't even try to compete with hardware. You know what I'm saying? They pull out. We rather just be everywhere. I think honestly, Game Pass. This what's happening now with the closing of studios is they need to make either they have to cut costs right away, and them cutting costs. These people unfortunately don't have a job right now. Best case scenario, once they get stabilized again, they contact those same people, but I'm not sure if they're gonna work with them anymore. They don't even tell them like,
No.
listen, guys, this is temporary. But those people aren't going to work with Microsoft anymore for the way that happened.
I promise you,
And
Nintendo was on the phone. Hey, I heard you guys are in need of employment.
Yeah.
Notice what you did with Hi-Fi Rush. Think you could come over here? I
Yeah,
guarantee you.
and then that's a Japanese studio that you guys needed. But to be honest with you, Phil and the Xbox team, they're almost, you can see this at war. If Phil Spencer retires, you'll know that these guys butted heads. And I don't think Satya Nadella has the wisdom or experience, because these guys, they're not as much as they manage great stuff. They're not very good at seeing things for real. They have an idea. I forgot what you call the term of like a pseudo understanding. It's not, oh well, no, kids like it. No, they
also,
don't.
Anthony, it was 3 studios.
Three
It was
studios.
for sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
Arcane, Austin,
Arcane.
Alpha Dog Studios, and Tango Gameworks.
I think with Alpha Dog, I think some of them got transferred to another studio. So they got transferred and they got
They shifted the people from
they shifted the
Roundhouse
people
Games.
to it.
From
Oh,
Roundhouse
to it.
Games, yeah.
To it. Okay. So that's my whole thing. And I could go on and on and on, but when I look at it, they fired the people to cut costs because they have to pay back that revenue, right? Game Pass subscribers isn't growing. So, not to mention, you're gonna price hike Game Pass. So these are the things, right? So in order to make the money back right away to pay back Microsoft, Xbox, of course, we gotta cut the costs. So boom, they got rid of the studios. Matt Booty's the same person that's saying, yeah, this game is a success, da da da. So that's Xbox talking. Microsoft comes in, cut costs, raise prices. We need that money back ASAP.
But then here's also a kicker. They also recently opened a new studio called
Yep.
Elsewhere Entertainment, which is supposed to be narrative-based and genre-defying AAA games.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
That's
kind of
supposed
like,
Yup.
so to help them re-up from their Activision
And
acquisition.
here's the thing. Those games they're not going to invest in the games that are experimental anymore. Right? That's
insane because that's the game that was
That's
successful.
exactly what they need. And to be honest with you, I think Phil's gonna retire. I think he's gonna retire. Not because of his not because of the pressure of the fans, but because of internal conflict. I guarantee you guys, the Xbox people are not happy with the Microsoft folk. And
I'm sure they're not, but I'm glad you brought up Phil because it is time we brought him out to the firing squad. Enough is enough now.
Mm-hmm.
He has had more than enough time. Like I was saying before we started recording, I get it that a lot of these decisions might have been made without your okay, without your approval. You might have woken up to the same email that the internet's woke up to. But if that's the case, then in the famous words of Jocelyn Hernandez, why are you here? Why are you here?
Okay. So
You're not. You're not. I'm tired of this whole. Well, Phil. He's the everyman. He tries to relate to us. He comes out to us. He's not just a corporate bigwig. He's 10 toes on the ground, ready to speak up for the behalf of the gaming community. It's like, bro. All I'm saying, I get it. You have to do damage control, right? You got to. Now at this second console cycle, it's like the first console cycle, I get it. You're doing damage control. And yes, some of that's going to still spill over into this current console cycle. I get it that you weren't able to hit the full reset button. But at a certain point, again, your presence has to be felt somehow, some way. And it can't just be every time an apology is required. And that's all I've seen as outside looking in. Anytime Xbox needs to apologize on the behalf of Microsoft, here comes Phil. Yeah, guys, it's been rough. Redfall was rough. It was rough.
Okay. Since you're the outside looking in, I could give you a different perspective.
Sure.
Why I am not as gun ho as for taking out Phil Spencer. It is literally Zorro having to take the CP9, not the CP9, but what's his name? Kuma Air Bubble, because hey, he just happened to be the one that was standing on his feet. Phil Spencer came into chaos, the chaos of Don Matrick. This is Chernobyl. You know what I'm saying? How much could he do? Right? He's limited on resources. He doesn't have enough soldiers to walk the line, and every soldier he's coming out now. They say, listen, now his idea was to finally build a wall. This wall that he built was the Xbox, not Series X, not Series X, but the Xbox One X that came out. That was a soft reboot for the Xbox One X, and it succeeded. So that feat alone was why people was like, yo, his vision is working. Second feat that he did, he actually got Game Pass to come off the ground. Game Pass to actually be stable. Third feat, third accomplishment. That's why his contribution, now we're seeing, because now he has to fight a burning house, a house that's burning down, prevent it from burning down completely, right? Because now he has to deal with the heat. He has to deal with the heat of the competition. He has to deal with the heat internally. He has to deal with the heat with the aftermath of the games that aren't producing. Halo's not your seller anymore. What is going on? Now I have to find a way to simultaneously restructure our video game era. What's going on? They had to get rid of Bonnie Ross because she made 3 L's from the Halo series, right? 3 L's in a row. They had to get rid of her. They gave her time. They say, yo, listen, this isn't working. Now Halo's in the best place it's ever been. So now he has to run around and make wonders happen. So it's just, that's why for me, I'm almost like, man, no matter what film, no matter what reality stone you used, you would have been, this is literally ReZero situation if you guys watch the anime, man, because it's like, my goodness.
To me, it still doesn't. The reason why I get it, like, I get the fact that yes, he had to come in to basically try to pull it up by the embers, but to me, it's a reflection of you, and by you I mean of Phil, because I get it, right? It's a situation where even if you're Kevin Feige in his prime, you can't single-handedly pull the MCU by yourself, right? You just can't. Same thing with him and Xbox. However, you should be able to put pieces in place of like, okay, now that I've gotten this support being back up, now I can have like-minded people start to help me extinguish these fires.
Okay.
Every time something happens, it seems like it's Phil against the world.
Listen,
and I'm like, that to me, it's a trickle-down effect at some point.
Phil tried to get the game off the ground from Platinum Games. What was it called? That got canceled. A Platinum Games game because Hideki Kamiya decided to pull resources and use those. He used the time that he was supposed to make spending that game. I forgot the game. Oh my gosh. But it was a big fuss when the game got canceled, man. Let's see.
I think what we're also seeing here is the fact that, especially the way how the world is working now with all these transfers with streaming services and just anything that is like subscription based. We're seeing the instability of it all. That, Jory, you've made this point plenty of times. It's like these numbers that people are expecting is not realistic. People they're not, they just want more and more, but they're not really understanding the economic times. And what you're seeing the parent company just absorb everything. They're absorbing the people, creativity, and even the overall product. And that is a very self-destructive
Scalebound.
Yeah. Oh, that dragon game.
The Scalebound. So what happened? I'm gonna get back. I'm gonna let you take it away, Tim. But with Scalebound, it got canceled, and that was all due because the studio we hired, Xbox hired. They didn't deliver. So he had a back and forth with Hideki Kamiya. And then, mind you, they were working on Platinum Games. Were working on the Ninja Turtles game, Flatline. They were also working on Nier Automata. So they focused all their resources on Nier Automata. Remember, they were responsible for the Avatar game.
I remember.
Flatline. Then what's that Square Enix game they was working on? Hey, uh, uh, Babylon Falls. Yeah, we forgot about it. Yeah, Platinum Games, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, gone. The servers gone. So I say all this to say, and we gonna tear in the Square Enix too, cause boy, I say all this to say, it's just been an unfortunate turn of events, man. The thing I believe Xbox needs is people that can make games, man. There's no reason why you have Cliff Basinski, right, just sitting on the pews. The guy David Jaffe just sitting doing podcasts. You guys aren't putting these gentlemen to work, and you guys know these guys are proven vessels of creating monumental work. There's no reason why the guy who created Resident Evil had to leave 2 weeks before. 2 weeks before Tango Games got shut down. A legend in the making. We are still profiting off of this man's vision. Evil Within was probably the best horror game. I'm not playing that game. That's too much. You feel me? But the Evil Within, that was something. You get what I'm saying? That was something. Now you have Hideo Kojima making a game. Like, listen, Xbox needs to stop focusing on these first person shooters because the people have spoken, man. There's the greed right now that's taking place, man. There's so many things. If I had Halo, and I'm gonna say this, if I was behind Halo, y'all would like Halo. You want to know why? Because I wouldn't limit Halo to just be, excuse me, to just be in first person. There's no reason why Halo, when you look at Helldivers, right? It's inspired by Halo. You can just look at it. The whole pods coming, that's all Halo. Falling to the ground, landing, Starship Troopers in Halo. That's all that is. You had your UNC soldiers, and I'm just like, yo, this could have been y'all. But yo, again, no imagination. No imagination. And Tim, you can go ahead and say what you were gonna say, man. But that's just my thoughts on the whole situation, man. It's just these guys feel unfortunate turn of events, man. And yeah.
Well,
you guys can give me some kickback so we can talk.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna let Tim go ahead first.
So due to the fact that we only got technically 3 more quarters of this year, where we're about to enter the second one right now, do you think there's anything in the recent future that Xbox could turn this around and to be realistic by the summer?
No. I think what Xbox needs to do, they need to separate like the church and state from. They need to find a way for Satya Nadella not to intervene. They cannot intervene. Microsoft tech computer side, they need to stay separated to a degree. They can be there, but they need to let Phil run, or whoever they decide to run Xbox in the future, to run it, because they obviously are not. They're all about the dollar. And because they're all about the dollar, they don't have a real understanding of how these metrics work in the gaming. You make a good product, people buy it. You don't imitate the product. Yeah, go ahead.
But then, since you said no, then that means that there's nothing to look forward to for the system for the rest of the year.
Right now, to be honest with you,
have we forgotten about Hellblade 2? Are we not all excited for Hellblade 2 with zero marketing, zero promotion, zero trailers, zero gameplay, zero?
I said this last part, gentlemen. I said this in the group chat. I said PlayStation and Xbox, they're done. They are done. They're focusing on next year.
You don't want to see Hellblade 2?
Number one, that game is not for me. I don't want to play as a schizophrenic Scandinavian woman. I'm sorry. I'm just not. And what is the world? The world doesn't. I'm not going to fight memories. I'm not going to be fighting the Shadow Beat.
It shakes up the genre and really pushes the Xbox current gen forward.
This is going to be our what's that game called? The Order 1978. That's our order, kids. That's our order. I'm just looking at it. I said, this is the Order all over again. That game will be 30 minutes long. 30 minutes long, kid. Right?